How's it going, everyone? Before here, welcome to Heliopolis Radio. Today, I've been fortunate to be joined by Maurice Carroll. He's a music composer, Reiki master, and certified sound healer. Without further ado, Maurice, I hand it all over to you. Tell us about yourself. What is it that you love to do?
Ah, I, so I love music. We'll start there. In terms of what I do, it's music production, composing, a lot of music business stuff, advising and consulting people. And then on the spiritual side, I am a certified Reiki master teacher and sound healer. What that means is that I am one of the people who help people understand mindfulness. And that's all of those titles, that's all it means. I help people understand and how to be more a mindful person.
Nice, nice. And so I guess I always ask most artists this question, but I always I find it interesting how each response is different. So when did you fall in love with music? Yeah, we'll start with that question.
So I felt, let's say that I started in music when I was 4 years old. I was at the piano, able to pick out tunes and melodies. I was able to duplicate what I was hearing. So I'm what they consider to be one of those child proteges kind of thing. Like how does he know how to do this without any training? I was one of those. And what it really happened was as I matriculated through music is how I began falling in love with it. Understanding, hey, I can say this without using words. I can get people to feel me just through what I'm expressing through the notes. That is where I fell in love with music. And it's something that it crosses boundaries. It crosses cultural boundaries. Crosses spiritual and religious boundaries. It crosses communication boundaries and language boundaries. So that's what made me really fall in love with it.
The universal language, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And no, I guess I saw that I was reading through your bio and everything, and it's pretty amazing. Some of the accolades you've achieved. Not that, I know for artists a lot of those things don't matter, but regardless, I just guess I'm curious myself, what has it like been working with Grammy Award-winning artists? That is quite everyone knows, or everyone who sees artists win a Grammy, we understand there's a great deal of creative effort that has to go into a project for it to be well received at that scale and at that level, and to also
Yeah.
navigate all the political, hurdles that, I guess, competition and everything. So I'm just wondering what that experience has been like for you.
It's been amazing each time. I am a very big fan of collaboration. And so when it comes to music, it's always about what is best for the song, what is best for this moment versus, hey, how is this going to push my career and who am I working with? All of those different things, they don't really come into play for me. It's more about the process of working. And when you're working with artists on that scale, you get to learn from them, they get to learn from you because there's a mutual respect for the music that you're both bringing across. And so each time I've worked with a different artist, it's all of the accolades and who's who and who knows what goes out the window and it turns into, okay, we are musicians wanting to express this. How do we do this the best way? And you just bounce back and forth with those collaborations. And really, that's what it really is about. I've been a member of the Recording Academy for over a decade now, so I'm used to being in those rooms with those people. Well, I don't say those because I'm a member, but I'm used to being in the room. And so a lot of times the fanfare of it all, I don't even really feel it and recognize like, oh, I get to work with this person. Is hey, oh, we're gonna work? Okay, let's work. And it becomes about the music. So it's yeah, it's been a great experience.
No, thank you for sharing that. My best friend's a musical artist. I'll be honest with you. I used to think I understood music till I saw what an artist actually goes through in the process of creating their art and just how much it means and how much sacrifice goes into a project. And one of the things that, fortunately or unfortunately, becomes apparent is the conflict of interest, usually when it comes to work on a project, because there are two different types of artists. There are artists that, as you mentioned, when it's a collaboration, it's a coming together of creative forces for mutual benefit. But now in today's society, especially with the commercialization of sound and everything, how people are looking at numbers and streams and all sorts of, there's also
Hmm.
obviously a very, very corporate element to music making, which is unavoidable, unfortunately, because we all have to make a living, right? So I was going to ask, do you feel that the essence of music making has kind of shifted from what it's meant to be simply because people need to take care of their financial needs first and foremost in order to sustain their livelihood in music. I mean, if you look at music today, in terms of just how sampling and how things are made and how quick things are made, maybe it's just like it's a bit the essence of, like the essence of a project is lost. And I'm not criticizing. I'm in no place to criticize music myself. I'm not an artist, but I mean, from the conversations I've had with my friend, there is a sense that music making has shifted from what it should be type of thing, where the artistry that is the center of it all is kind of now it's a different dynamic. So I don't know. I'll leave that in your hands to maybe elaborate or comment on.
Yeah, it is a little different, but again, it depends on the professionalism that you're dealing with. I found so I've been a full-time music artist for about 25 years now. And so even though I don't have my own Grammy and even though I'm not, famous, I have managed to 100% live off of music and music creation. And in that, a lot of media will show artists making money and living off of it and in the studio and writing and listening to the beat and then they next thing you see them on stage and then they're touring and it's the music business life is not like that. And it's one of the things that I dislike about what media pushes forth about that industry. It's they like to glamorize it, but they don't show you the paperwork that has to happen. They don't show you going in debt because you want to make it happen. They don't show you the computer glitching. They don't show you the missed meetings because somebody overslept or somebody partied too hard. Like they don't glamorize those real world concerns and issues. And yes, it is. Well, when you're in the music business, you do have to know your business. And yes, it is about making money. However, as an artist, you have to find that line of, okay, I'm still expressing myself. And one of the things that I think pieces of information that I would give to an artist that is in the industry is to be careful of what your focus is. So if you're focused on making money and seeing what other people are going to think about what you created, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And you shouldn't be following a trend. You should be mastering whatever it is that you want to say and how you want to say it. And maybe that will become the trend. You don't have to follow the trends. Trends are going to come and go. And just because a song is popular now doesn't mean that you have the financial infrastructure to support your song that sounds just like that or better for it to get up to that state. So it's really, you should really be creating music for yourself first and almost only. And it's let me create this, let me get this to be the best that it can be. And then if and when I want to share it, okay, here it is. And if you're in the music business, then okay, well, what are the steps that I need to take to support this song, this creation, the way that it's supposed to be? And I think that understanding that takes a lot of the stress and anxiety and depression away from the industry that people, again, media doesn't show you how in your brain an artist can be. Like an artist can create anxiety about what may or may not happen with the song. They can create a depression because they're thinking about what they could have or should have done with the song. They're creating stress levels because they don't know what they're supposed to do. So the way to kind of get rid of all of that or kind of avoid it as best as you can is to make sure that you're creating for yourself first. You're expressing yourself first and you're taking care of your mind first before it has to go to anybody else.
No, thank you. Thank you for the words of wisdom there. I truly hope that, if there are any artists that do tune and they take value from that, because there is an unspoken of pressure that I've been told that exists about artists, specifically with the financial regard. It's a big one. It's a big
Yeah,
one just to make it happen. And when a project doesn't kick off the way you intended to, it's very devastating to say the very least. So thank you for just giving words of reassurance. I think 25 years of experience in the industry probably is a good enough insight for people to know that it takes time to make things
it takes
happen.
time.
It
Yes.
frustrates everyone. But I was going to ask you, maybe in a more metaphysical sense, what do you think God gave us the gift of sound for?
God gave us the gift of sound to create things. So, regardless of, uh, I want to say almost regardless of your religious background, sound was the first thing that happened. It's a lot of times it's something was said, there's a boom, whatever you believe, whatever you think, whatever you know, it started with sound. And so for me, the importance of sound starts at the very beginning of life, period. So music comes into play by understanding that all we are doing is manipulating the sound, manipulating the vibration, manipulating the frequencies to create, to express, to communicate. That's all that it is. Everything else past that is something that we implemented and put on ourselves. So, you know, the importance of it, it's the beginning of everything. So you can't get too much more important.
And I know it's interesting, especially when you refer to the stages of creation, biblically referred as well. It's amazing how people undervalue. By the way, sorry about the background noise. I live with family, so if you hear any
I don't
shift
hear
in noise,
anything.
okay, oh good. Just again, apologize for that. I guess your journey in sound healing. How has sound healing helped you personally in your own life, whether it be your mental health or your physical health in terms of physical ailments? Maybe do you have a testimony for how it's benefited you? Because a lot of people they don't appreciate something until someone gives I guess, a personal example of how it's impacted their
Right.
lives.
Right. So sound healing is simply using vibration and frequency to heal your body, to balance your mind and your whole being. That is what simply it is. Some people, when you say sound healing, you're thinking, okay, playing a bowl and sitting and it's not it's sound healing is well beyond that. It's gone way, way, way past that. And it's not to say that example of playing the bowls and sitting in a certain position, it's not saying that that doesn't happen. That is important, but to think that that's all that it is, you're limiting your thought process in terms of what sound healing is and can do. Prime example of that is with sound healing. So in my practice, I do include the bowls. I do use tuning forks. However, I also use frequencies from my recording software. I do use my keyboard. You know, um, I do use electronic instruments and ask other people to join me on stage and things like that. And so it's a bigger picture because the ultimate thing is to make sure that there's some type of healing that's going across when we're playing this music. It's not just, oh, where we're relaxing and, it's woo woo. And we're sitting, it's so much more than that because my approach is from a scientific side. It's understanding, okay, well, what frequency am I using and how am I using it? What does this frequency do? What does this vibration do? Okay, well, if I combine these two together, what is the intention? What should be happening in that person's body? What should be happening to their mind? What is happening with the synapses that's firing in their brain? What am I actually affecting versus just kind of, oh, this feels great and I'm gonna relax and go to sleep. It's a little bit, you know, there's some research that had to be done with the sound healing that I use and that I administer. A lot of it, when you don't know what it is, it can seem like it's a whole lot. And I'm recently putting out a book called Starting Your Sound Healing Journey. And it's really designed for people that are just starting off, like you said, that don't know, well, what is sound healing? I don't even know what it is. In the book, I tell you exactly how I got started in it, what it is, what it isn't, what's been used, what is a frequency, what is a vibration, what is a hertz, how do I know which songs and what sounds I'm supposed to listen to. All of that is in the book. And so when I teach my classes, it's yes, it's me giving me examples of how it works, but it's also showing my class in the moment, hey, press this button and listen to this. Okay, now listen to this. What do you feel? What do you see? And it's one of those things where when you actually do it without the overshadowing of what you think is supposed to be, you learn more. So a personal thing with me, I use sound healing a lot. And so one of the things that worked for me, because I'm a musician first, this was the easiest path for me in terms of understanding mindfulness. And mindfulness is just being in the present moment without judgment, just kind of sitting in this moment and just being there at peace, no judgment of the thoughts that are coming. You just simply observing them, and that's it. That's all. And for me, because I'm music first, sound healing was the easiest way for me to, okay, well, let me understand this mindfulness thing with sound healing. What is it like for me to just sit and, oh, this feels pretty good. Okay. What that ended up doing, it started helping me control my blood pressure. And then my health started to improve because I'm being more mindful of what I'm doing. And those frequencies and vibrations would calm me, lower my blood pressure, my stress levels would drop. I didn't experience depression as much. So those are the testimonials that I personally have. Um, and it's something that I've seen happen with other people, just saying to them, hey, listen, just listen to this frequency without any judgment. Listen to this music, and whatever thoughts come to your mind, let them hit and then let them go. Don't even entertain them so much. Just it's not a thing of let me clear my mind and just think space and nothingness. It's not that. It's really just sitting with yourself, being present, and like even if someone was to sit and just have something and playing and they said, okay, well, I'm gonna be mindful right now. And then all of a sudden they're thinking, oh, I gotta go and pick up groceries to make dinner, or I gotta go get the kids, or I need to get ready for school. Like all of those thoughts that start to come in, what I teach is to say, hey, let it come in. Oh yeah, you might have to get groceries, but right now, you're here right now. You'll get back to that when you're finished. Yeah, you may have to get ready for school now. It's okay. You'll come back to it in a second. You might be getting had a stressful day at work. It's okay. It happened already. Let's center in right now. So you're not ignoring them. You're acknowledging the thought. And then you're saying, yeah, we can worry about that after I get out of this moment. Let me have this moment. And that's what mindfulness really is. That's how sound healing helps.
No, thank you for that, and thank you for how you've given, the practical indication of how you'd want to work with it. And I guess that was going to do to my next question is basically in the programs that you run, maybe if you just give a general rundown of what the client will experience. Is it one of those healing journeys that goes over a period of time? Because it takes time for therapy to work. There's no magical cure. I think people
Right.
think they'll take a magical herb and everything will be okay, or people will listen to a sound and they'll be enlightened. but obviously it's a compound effect. So I'm just wondering how your healing process works and what the journey looks like for the client.
Yeah. So I do two different versions. I have the group healing that happens, and then I have one-on-one individual sessions as well. What it looks like for a group, if you can imagine a room of say 20 to 40 people, everybody have yoga mats, their whatever makes them comfortable, their pillow, their whatever they need, blindfolds, and everybody's kind of laying out and and I'm giving instruction. This is what's getting ready to happen. Because when I do my sound healing sessions, I don't walk you through a meditation. I give you space and I hold space for you to have your own experience. And so when they're laying out, they'll hear the music start, they'll feel a vibration because typically I have a sound engineer with a sound system. So those lower vibrational tones, you'll feel it. Even though you're laying on the floor, you're going to feel it translating through the floor. You're going to hear, the different elements. If I have musical guests that are accompanying me, all of it is orchestrated while you're laying there with your eyes closed and just taking in that meditative moment. And when it's time for you to come out of the moment, then you'll hear me bringing you out and bringing your awareness back into the room and then letting you know, okay, this is how you come out of it. Come on, and this is what we're doing. And then that's it. When I do the individual sessions, typically what happens is the client will come into the room and there's a moment of dialogue that we have just so that you're not walking into the room and you're just getting on the table and we're right into it. There's a dialogue that happens, just so that I can make sure you understand what's about to happen and making sure that you're comfortable. Do you understand what Reiki is? Do you understand what sound healing is? This is typically what you might experience when you're in these sessions. And talking my way through that, letting them give responses. Okay, great. We're all comfortable. Great. Now let's lay on the table. Here's your blindfold. Here's your headphones. Here we go. And I go through the session. Same exact way with the group session. I bring you back out. Okay, you do this, do that. Okay, now let's sit down afterwards. How do you feel? What do you feel differently? Do you have anything you want to share or not right now, or maybe not at all? It's okay either way. Just know that there is space here if you want to say something. The reason why I'm able to give that space outside of, being a Reiki master, outside of being sound healing, I also has certification in trauma informed. So some of my clients, they may be recovering from something. They may have had some traumatic experience where I've had training to know specifically how to deal with that. So I incorporate all of the certifications all into one practice and in that one session. Once they're done, okay, let's get you scheduled for your next one, which is typically about a month later, maybe more if you feel that you need more, but typically a month later, and then we rinse and repeat and do it all over again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I really appreciate, the high degree of knowledge you've acquired to make it a complete process. You've put all the pieces together quite well just to make
Thank
sure
you.
all your, I mean, because again, when you're working with trauma and things like that, it can be intensive, right? And so I know, I mean, I would imagine with the clients that you meet with, everything is different. Every response to how sound operates and what it purges of the body is different. So,
Right.
yeah, no, it's really, really good what you do. And I guess my question is moving forward, do you believe that sound healing should be shifted from more of a metaphysical experience to a practical on-site experience that we have at hospitals, that we have at psych wards, so that people aren't always having to go through something that's a bit, I won't really use the word invasive to the body, but it can be a bit too stressful. I know from my personal experience, I did do a sound healing journey a while back in Bali. Very interesting experience. Can't really describe it till this day. But I do notice that after the experience, because it was non-invasive to the body, it was easier to integrate what had happened in the experience. Whereas if someone's giving you a pill or someone's operating on you, it's tough. It's not a bad thing, by the way. I'm not criticizing the procedure itself. I'm saying that sometimes it's a bit more difficult. So would
Right.
you, as a sound healer, would you prefer to have sound healers on site in a lot of these spaces just to help people along their recovery process or even to prevent unnecessary treatment where something can be resolved externally without any internal, you know,
Right.
yeah. I don't know if that I
So
worded that.
I think sound healing is more something that accompanies, not a standalone treatment. So the Reiki and sound healing that I administer, sometimes it is alongside someone taking medication. It is alongside of somebody getting some other type of treatment. Um, and even speaking with some doctors now, they're understanding the neuroscience of sound healing and they're understanding how it can affect your thoughts. It can affect the physical things that the brain is actually doing, and that energy is real. And so the things that seem metaphysical are they have so many studies that are starting to come out to show that nah, this is not just something that we're theorizing. Here's proof. Here's before, here's after, and this is the only thing that happened. So there is proof to show when you are dealing with someone that maybe, like you said, in a ward or something, that okay, playing this type of music versus another type of music will put them in a certain mindset, which will help the medicine do what it's supposed to do. A real simple, very, very simple way to understand it is that when you think of hospital treatments and you think, okay, IVs and pills and the lights and it being a little chilly and the white coat syndrome and all of those things, when your body is tense, it's harder for those medications to filter through your system and do what it's supposed to do. So, if I'm introducing sound healing and I'm using Reiki and I'm using mindfulness to help you calm down, it's also helping that medicine go through you because you're not as tense anymore. Very easy, very simple way to understand that they can work together and should work together. Um, and now there have been instances where I've had clients, they came in and said, "Hey, can you not play the bowls because the bowls remind me of this? Can you please give me something else?" Yes, I can. And that's why I'm doing what I do because I know I can use this instrument or this instrument and it can have the same effect. So if bowls don't work for you, yeah, we're going to get you this healing a different kind of way, but you're going to get it, you know? And so, knowing, being informed is very important. So there are some children, I teach neurodivergent children once a month with um, creating music and recording and songwriting and things like that. What I also do, and part of the program, is using sound healing embedded into that program. So a lot of times while we're having dialogue, you're going to hear a frequency playing. Now, whether you're clear on, okay, why I'm calmer than usual, you might not know, they don't always know, but they know I feel different. And I had one of the parents, assisting me, and she was not neurodivergent as well. She's neurodivergent as well. And when it was coming on to our break time, she walked over to me. She said, "What is it that you're playing? It feels like I normally feel this jittery, and I don't feel it right now. What is I know this is the only thing that's different. What is this?" And I told her what it was and what was in it and, why she was feeling what she was feeling. And next thing she was like, okay, well, how much is it? I need that, and, so it can work alongside, all of these medicines and everything. I would not recommend anybody getting into this field and saying, oh, I'm going to drop my medicine and I'm just going to do this now. That's not what this is about. This is about healing the entire body. So with musicians, for example, a lot of times, if you're in the music industry, it's very difficult for us to focus. It's very difficult for us to calm down. Well, Maurice, how do you know? Because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't have so many artists who have need of something from the outside. They have a drinking issue that has a substance abuse issue, or they start to react in a certain way, getting more violent than what they normally, it's all of these reactions show up because of the stress levels of what we do in the music industry. I also think that when you are a musician who learns how to be mindful, you get to enjoy your process more because you've reduced the stress, you've reduced the anxiety, you've reduced the depression, and you get to kind of sit in it and be like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to feel like versus pent up and impress this person and get this right. And is you take a lot of that and you de-escalate it, and then you get to sit in the enjoyment and love of creating music.
No, thank you. Beautifully said, Maurice. Truly. And I guess I was going to ask, how do people reach out to you? Not just in terms of musical collaborations, obviously, but in terms of your sound healing program. Do you also extend it to people outside of the US? Do you work with people internationally? How do people maybe get access to it? I'm based in South Africa, obviously, so there's a lot of practical implications to obviously interacting with you. So I'm just wondering how people can navigate some of those hurdles.
Yeah, there are a few ways. The easiest is just to plug my name in. If you put in Maurice Carroll on Instagram, you'll find me. If you put it in on LinkedIn, you'll find me. If you put in Maurice Carroll on YouTube, you'll find me. Or mauricecarroll.com, you'll find me. The other way is the other title, you can find me under Harmony in Mind Wellness Group.com, and you can find me there as well. I have been developing a program where I can help people outside of the US that can't get to me personally. I'm developing that now, and it's coming together. So I'm learning that there's certain requirements that the client would have to have in order to really get the fullness of what um, I'm delivering. But yeah, it's coming together. So if someone is interested, any of those ways, if you reach out and say, "Hey, listen, I want to experience sound healing this way. What can I do?" And I want to go through you or whatever the case is, reaching out to me is the easiest and the best way to do it. Um, and I do travel quite a bit. I've traveled to a number of different countries doing music and doing some sound healing. So, I haven't been to South Africa yet, so I'm waiting for that invite. I'll do that. I have been to Angola. Um, I've been to Lithuania and Azerbaijan and Estonia, all of these different places. But I am definitely, oh, and I have some interest now. Some people talking to me about going to Belize and Brazil. So to do specifically the music integrated sound healing and things like that. So I'm open to having those discussions as well.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I actually really forgot now that you mentioned them traveling. One of the questions I did have was how was the experience of having other people from different cultures embrace your creation? It must be a unique experience to know someone from a completely different journey in life, different background, different story, uh, has still been able to somehow interact with you through a non-physical way, but in a way through which you've transmitted information through sound. So I'm wondering how that experience is having to share your creations with people from completely different, sides of the world and different stories.
Yeah, the truth is that we are all the same. We're really all the same. We all experience the core moments of life. We all experience stress on some level. We all have experienced some type of anxiety, some type of depression. We all we have our understanding of what love is or may not be. We all have, it's very basic things that we all go through, and I use music and sound healing just to cut through to that core thing. No, I may not know your exact situation, and I may not be able to fully understand or embrace exactly what you're going through because of the cultural differences and experience. Yeah, of course not. However, the way that we combat it is the same. And so when I've been to these different countries, I did a lot of touring as a keyboardist for a rap artist, and we did that. And then being in some of those situations, you find people just in conversation that are saying, "Oh yeah, I gotta go do this," and you can see the stress come over them physically. You can see it, and you say, "Hey, listen, just take a moment. Here, breathe in, breathe out. All right, tighten up, loosen up. You feel better?" I do actually. Okay, cool. I don't have to know those details to know as a human being, these are some techniques that will affect all of us. Hey, listen to this. There are no lyrics, there's no communication, no language barriers. Just listen to this and relax and then see how you feel, and seeing how that affects people in real time is what gave me the encouragement to kind of keep going and to push forward.
No, that's really, really beautiful. And again, wishing you all the best as you expand and change your horizons, not change your horizons, but expand your horizons, interact
Yes.
with new people from all over the world. Uh, the whole world is for sure stressed right now. I think everyone's going through different battles. So I think, as you mentioned, promoting the gift of sound as a tool to help people navigate their own lives' difficulties and obviously the difficulties of the community around them through sound. It's a very, 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 very good mission. So all the best for that. My last question for you, not to take too much of your time, or what are your words of wisdom and advice for the audience tuning in today?
Oh, this is a good one. Okay. Um, because there's so many different ways that I know people can close out a podcast, with words of wisdom. Because of what I do, because of who I am, um, I can say how mindfulness is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. And so, because regardless of what your physical abilities are or are not, regardless of your background culturally, regardless of your religious background, regardless of your social preferences, it doesn't matter. If you practice mindfulness, it is an internal thing for you to be a better person and to experience life on a calmer level, to receive life in a calmer way. So once you learn, find a way, even if it's not necessarily sound healing, find yoga, find a walking meditation, find something where you can just sit and be, and just for a moment. And it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to be one of these gurus that sit and they sit for hours. You don't even have to do a half an hour. If you just take 5, maybe 10 minutes a day, it goes past really, really quickly. Set a timer, just practice and see how it affects your life and be better, be a better person.
Maurice, thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy to have you on the podcast. Thank you for the wisdom and knowledge you've shared. I'll make sure to put your links in the description and also in the video. And for those of you tuning in, feel free to reach out to Maurice, particularly those of you who are beginning your journey in artistry. I think his foundation is the right foundation that'll make music what it's meant to be for society, not what it's kind of become as a result of maybe whole host of different factors. But no, it's been a joy having you. All the best as you expand, as you grow, and it's been an absolute joy, Maurice. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.